History books tell us what these famous figures did, but not who they really were. What if I told you Winston Churchill relied on bizarre habits to function? Or that Benjamin Franklin had a secret life most people would never suspect? From hidden scandals to shocking obsessions, this is the real side of history's greatest icons that you were never meant to know. Stay tuned, because once you hear these secrets, you'll never see them the same way again. When we think of historical legends, we imagine powerful leaders, brilliant thinkers, and fearless warriors. But behind closed doors, they were just people, flawed, eccentric, and sometimes downright shocking. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on some of the most famous figures in history to reveal their most surprising and bizarre secrets. You think you know them? Think again. Winston Churchill is remembered as the fearless leader who stood against Hitler. But what history doesn't often mention is his lifelong battle with depression, which he called his black dog. To cope, Churchill followed an odd routine, starting his mornings with whiskey, taking meetings in bed, and dictating speeches while soaking in a bathtub. He even scheduled daily naps, believing they were the key to his success. Yet, despite his struggles, he led Britain through its darkest hours, proving that even the strongest minds have their demons. Benjamin Franklin, the wise old founding father, right? Not exactly. Franklin had a wild side, indulging in parties, affairs, and secret societies. In Paris, he was known for his flirtations with high society women, charming them with his wit. But that wasn't all. He was also a member of the Hellfire Club, a secret group rumored to engage in scandalous activities. And let's not forget his bizarre personal habits. He believed air baths, standing naked in front of an open window, would keep him healthy. Turns out the man on the $100 bill was living quite the unexpected life. Cleopatra, the ultimate power player. Cleopatra is famous for her beauty, but her real weapon was her mind. She spoke multiple languages, studied politics, and knew how to control the most powerful men of her time. But did you know she wasn't even Egyptian? She was actually Greek, from the Ptolemaic dynasty. Her legendary romances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony weren't just about passion, they were calculated moves to secure her throne. And while Hollywood paints her as a seductress, ancient accounts suggest she was more of a master strategist than a femme fatale. Nikola Tesla's strange obsessions. Nikola Tesla gave us AC electricity, but his personal life was filled with oddities. He had an extreme fear of germs, washing his hands obsessively and refusing to shake hands. He was also obsessed with the number 3. He'd walk around a building 3 times before entering and insisted on having exactly 18 napkins at meals. But the strangest part? He fell in love with a pigeon. Yes, Tesla claimed he had a deep connection with a white pigeon, saying, "I love that pigeon as a man loves a woman." Genius? Absolutely. Eccentric? Without a doubt. Rasputin, Russia's mysterious monk. Rasputin, the so-called mad monk, had an eerie grip on the Russian royal family. He claimed to have mystical healing powers, and Tsarina Alexandra believed he was the only one who could save her son. But outside the palace, Rasputin lived wildly, drinking excessively, seducing women, and surviving multiple assassination attempts. The most infamous? His killers poisoned him, shot him multiple times, and threw him in a freezing river. Yet when his body was found, it seemed he had still been alive when he hit the water. His influence, and his death, remain one of history's great mysteries. Pablo Picasso, the ruthless genius. Pablo Picasso is known as a revolutionary artist, but behind his genius was a man who manipulated and controlled those around him. He had a long history of using women for inspiration, only to discard them when they no longer served his artistic needs. Some of his former lovers suffered deep depression and one even took her own life. He once said, "For me there are only 2 kinds of women, goddesses and doormats." Despite his artistic brilliance, his personal life was filled with toxic relationships and emotional cruelty. Mata Hari, the seductive spy. Mata Hari was one of the most famous exotic dancers of her time, but she lived a double life as a spy during World War I, or did she? While she was accused of working for the Germans, some historians believe she was just a scapegoat. She used her charm and beauty to gain access to powerful men, but when the war turned against her, France executed her for espionage. However, to this day there is no solid proof that she ever actually betrayed anyone. Was she a cunning double agent or just a victim of political paranoia? And Catherine the Great, the reforming empress. Catherine the Great wasn't just a powerful ruler, she was a woman who rewrote the rules. Rising to power after overthrowing her own husband, she modernized Russia, championed the arts, and corresponded with Enlightenment thinkers. Rumors swirled about her personal life, but the truth? She was a visionary leader who refused to let men control her destiny. Albert Einstein, the absent-minded genius. Einstein wasn't just a physics genius, he was also incredibly forgetful. He frequently lost track of time, forgot basic tasks, and was known for wearing mismatched socks. His personal life was also complicated. He had multiple affairs and a strained relationship with his first wife. Despite his brilliance, he was a man of contradictions. Genghis Khan, the strategic conqueror. Genghis Khan was ruthless on the battlefield, but few know that he also established one of the most progressive empires of his time. He promoted religious tolerance, enforced a postal system, and valued merit over birthright. His legacy isn't just about conquest, it's about the unexpected advancements he introduced. Leonardo da Vinci, the curious mind. Da Vinci was more than an artist, he was a scientist, engineer, and inventor. He dissected corpses to study anatomy, designed flying machines, and even sketched early tanks. His mind was centuries ahead of his time, proving that genius knows no boundaries. Voltaire, the sharp-tongued philosopher. Voltaire was known for his wit, but he was also a master of survival. He spent time in prison for mocking the French monarchy but charmed his way out of trouble. His letters and books shaped modern thought, but his sharp tongue always kept him one step away from exile. Theodore Roosevelt, the unstoppable force. Roosevelt survived assassination attempts, boxed, hunted, and led soldiers into battle. When shot during a speech, he simply continued talking. His energy was legendary, proving that history's great figures weren't just thinkers, but doers. Behind every historical figure, there's a side of them that rarely makes it into textbooks. Some were visionaries, others were deeply flawed, and a few were just downright strange. But one thing's for sure, history is never as simple as it seems. If you thought these stories were wild, wait till you hear the next one. Click now to watch.